Hi Stampers, it's Christy with Stampin' Texas, and in part 2 of today's video I'm going to show you how to put together this really pretty Wondrous Wreath Christmas card. But before I do, one thing I forgot to mention in part 1 is I wanted to make sure that you knew that the Wonderful Wreath Wondrous Wreath stamp set and the Wonderful Wreath Framelits, they obviously coordinate. But if you are going to purchase these items, you'll want to make sure to use the bundled item number, because that will save you 15% off the cost of these purchasing them individually. So I also wanted to show you the entire set of the framelits comes with so much more than just the pieces for the wreath. So here are the pieces for the wreath, but then you also get the bow. Let's see, let me turn this around. We've got Noel, we have the word joy, a star, and then a little wreath hanger. So it's a great value, and each one of these framelits coordinate with the stamp set. So be sure to look below the video in the description box, and I'll have the bundled item number listed for you. Alright, so in part 1 of the tutorial, I showed you how to stamp a two-tone wreath, as well as I've got a bow now. So I've showed you how to stamp it, cut it out using those framelits. But let's get started on our card. For the card base, I use the Early Espresso cardstock, and it's cut to 8.5 by 5.5. I just scored it in the middle and folded in half. I'm going to set that aside for the moment. This piece is Crumb Cake, and it's cut to 4 by 5.25. So the first thing we're going to do is stamp that background image. That comes from the hardwood stamp, and I really love this for so many different uses. But let me show you a little tip. A couple little tips, actually. First, the image is very large, and you could use the big acrylic block with it, but I prefer to actually use my table as kind of my block. Now, let me just say, this particular card here I stamped with soft suede, so if you like that look. But I wanted to go a little bit lighter, so I'm going to use the baked brown sugar. So I just leave the stamp on my table. I ink it up. Then what I do is I take my piece and place it right on top. And now I'm going to just grab a scratch piece of paper, whatever you got handy, and just rub all over like that. So much easier than trying to hold such a large stamp and go to the paper with it. Okay? And that'll actually probably even go a little bit lighter as it dries. But that's the idea. So we've got our hardwood. Now I'm going to use the sentiment, Happy Wonderful Christmas. And I'm going to stamp that in Early Espresso. And this is the, I just wanted to show you kind of the photopolymer. Isn't that cool? So you can just peel those off, switch them out. So let's stamp that down here in the bottom right. Okay, so there's that. And the next thing we're going to do, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and use my snail and put that on my cardstock base. And that baked brown sugar may be even a little bit too dark, but I'm going to go with it anyway. I like the rustic look of this card. And then I've just put a few dimensionals on the back of my wreath. I love the wreath. There's so many different things you can do with it. It's so pretty. So we'll just put that on there right there. And I've put a little dimensional on my bow as well. And put that on, and away you go. Isn't that cute? So you've got some fun, different cards that you can do with that wreath and using the hardwood. But for the complete list of products used, be sure to check the description box below. And thanks so much for watching, and for more fun project ideas, be sure to visit my website. Thank you.